Hello everyone, welcome. Today I'm gonna read Astrology for Bassareus. Here he is with his drum. And he's the host of the Moment podcast and the Foxton community. You can find his channel through my channel. I have a playlist with roundtable talks there. All right. So let's get into it. So we're going to look at this from evolutionary astrology lens. So I'm going to look at the moon's nodes here first. These horseshoe shaped symbols show you, here is the south node of the moon in the green circle, and the north node is always the opposite sign, the opposite side. And for Bas it's south node in Cancer, so that's where he's coming from. It's like guess like pretty much emotional sign. But then also like a bit challenged because of this square here. We got Mercury in Aries in the 4th house squaring the nodes, and the 4th house is also associated with Cancer, and a square to the nodes is like a challenge in this life, or like a skipped step that needs to be integrated. And with Mercury in Aries in the 4th house, that would be something like the communication about our will and our emotions not integrated well. So that's like one challenge that Buzz has been, and it is maybe to some degree still kind of needing to integrate more, but I can see progress with it. And that is kind of like with him getting more in touch with that instinctual emotional communication, or communicating about his will and how he's feeling and these sort of things. Then I feel like because there's that 4th house connection there, then like that's kind of freeing up his south node to be expressed more, like that more nurturing side of Cancer, to come online more and to be there for himself in that regard. But also then when we fill our own cup with nurturing, then we can start to nurture others too. It shouldn't be like a sacrifice in the shadow sense of like we fill others people's cups but we don't fill our own or something. Yeah. And we don't need to hold back the communication, like in this case with the Mercury squaring the nodes. Okay, so here's the Mercury in Aries, and here's the North Node then in Capricorn. And the Moon, the South Node ruler of Cancer, it's there also. So then it's about bringing that emotion and that nurturing to the work, to our role in society, and to the structures in a way, like to bring our care, bring your care to what we're building here. And North Node in Capricorn, it is like kind of like the journey to become your own authority, and is still ongoing in a way, like for so many of us. But it's like by resolving this Mercury square the nodes, integrating that communication about your individual vibe, bringing that more and more can help you nurture yourself, and then bring that to the overall structure as well. And because it's your second house, I think, here, then I would say like that's gonna give you that stability. That you're looking for. And okay, how about the North Node ruler? We got Saturn here in Aquarius. And with Black Moon Lilith. So guess there's some challenge with this. I think Lilith here was also like retrograde. Okay, so Saturn is usually like a challenge of like just like Capricorn, because Saturn rules Capricorn. So a challenge of coming into our own. There might be like first like from outer authority figures, like this pressure to do things a certain way, but then we are like learning to find our own way to do it and to trust that. And you've had your Saturn return, but maybe because of this Lilith here, which has to do with repression too, that has like maybe delayed a bit like the completion of this, or like of the stepping into your own power. But we've seen progress in that too, in that it being here in Aquarius, it has to do with the I would say, the wider perspective, and I guess like your valuable bringing of it, but that has become repressed in early life. Like it has not been valued, and that made you repress it in yourself. That's the second phase of the Lilith. And then like hopefully we would all come to the stage where we no longer are limited by this repression, like when we are no longer repressing it. So I feel like then that would be like when you are no longer repressing, bringing the bigger, broader perspective that you see to the community, Aquarius. And also if we look at your chart rulers, it is Saturn and Uranus as a pair are ruling most of the planets here. Here we got Uranus between the Moon and Neptune here in Capricorn. And Uranus rules Aquarius, Saturn rules Capricorn, so they have this mutual reception here. So they're a power pair. And then it's like this, you've got this very wide perspective on society, on the structures, and also like, I don't know, I guess like the, even on like, could say some yeah, societal, social structures too, and also biological structures to some degree, with how you care about nature, and you look into like what do we need to do to treat nature right as well, because I feel like Capricorn has a lot to do with nature as well, and that kind of structure. But in our day and age, I guess there's a lot of focus on society and man-made structures, but there's like, you know, there's the earth as a structure too, and nature. So indeed, then like bringing that perspective, which can be, I guess it can be, Uranus can be a bit detached. I mean, it's the higher perspective, so it's like a bit ungrounded, but then bringing that down to earth with, I mean, you got here earth energies with Capricorn, and Sun in Taurus too, got here, and then Jupiter in Virgo. So those signs will help you ground this down. The being embodied in Taurus, and the refining by trial and error in Virgo. And through that, then like forming that perspective to be grounded, and like keeping sharing it with the Mercury too. And another thing like that is strong here in the chart is of course Pluto in Scorpio, because it is in its home sign. Pluto rules Scorpio, and you know Scorpio is about what I feel like quite intense, what we might call shadow work, of like that there is this fixed water, thus kind of like standing water, can be stagnant, but it's like the trick is like to learn from that and to learn to release it so that new life can spring from it, like in the sense of trauma and these things. And I feel like this like is shown in your interest into psychology and working through releasing and in a way being reborn, letting go of old identities and patterns that no longer serve us. So that's very much there, present in this Pluto Scorpio and in the 12th house, so that's linked to Pisces, so it's also part of your energy. Pisces is also like a sign that is very much connected to the spiritual realms. And we also always want to look at the polarity point, the opposing sign from Pluto, which is Taurus in your case, and for our generation. And Taurus is then about this need for stability and calm environment, a stable nature, that's really, I feel, what can help us feel more grounded too, is like spending time in nature and just feeling into our body too, like just being there with our sensations physically, not just psychologically. Psychologically, is that a word? Anyways, yeah, but that very much is something that is good to keep up and in mind, to balance out the intensity of being a Scorpio rising and Pluto Scorpio. So yeah. Okay, so we've got here the ruler of Taurus, Venus, in the sign of Aries, and the 5th house. And of course, yeah, we got now some nice highlighting of Aries with the North Node there, and Chiron, the wounded healer, there too. So I feel like that's been like affecting your Aries placements and been like helping you to bring this forward to healing. And a lot of us, like the Aries energy in general, even if you don't have like placements per se there, but like our individual will and like even healthy anger or boundaries or going our own way. Like we're all having an opportunity to heal that right now. And with it being here Venus for you, that would be like healing your relationship to your body being embodied, and I guess could be also like to relations, how you relate in a way that's that honors your individuality. Yeah. And because Venus also rules this, the current south node in Libra, then I think that's also like brought up like past relations to be healed or yeah, transformed through those experiences for something new. Where shall we go next? I guess I like to look at Chiron. So we got Chiron here in Leo, close to the cusp to Cancer. But yeah, Chiron in Leo would be like a wounding in, let's see, what house is that? Oh man, it's so small. Is it like 8th house? Okay. 8th house. Chiron in Leo. It speaks about a wounding in your creative expression, and maybe like in the sense of like kind of like the more taboo or like deep Scorpio themes, that expression was not valued or understood or yeah, supported. So the task then is to like find ways where you are for yourself that support for it. And I think you've also like made big strides on that front. Like you share about what you're interested in, like mythology and these obscure mystery schools or different things like this. I feel it's very 8th house themes, and you're starting to find your audience with it. It's like very specific, but there are people who are also interested in these things, and it's great to see that they're finding your work now more. And I'd say like keep being yourself and sharing about what's important to you, what's meaningful to you, and express it artistically and yeah, it's gonna be a continued healing journey in a way, like Neptune in Capricorn. You can see here talks about the same thing in a way, about like your sensitivities, your talents, your gifts not being understood. It's that overbearing energy of Capricorn or Saturn when it comes from the outside and it doesn't understand you. But then the challenge is to do it anyway and be that support for yourself. Be that be for yourself the one who says like, yeah, that's very interesting. I think this is important. So then we keep doing it. I have this too, Neptune. And Neptune in Capricorn. So yeah. Let's see, what didn't we talk about yet? Maybe Mars next. Mars is in the 4th house too, but it's in Pisces. So yeah, makes sense with it. Mars in Pisces, I guess could say like your instincts being and your drive being very kind of I guess could even say intuitive, because it's like there with Pisces, and then like also emotional because it's the 4th house. Yeah, not sure much to say about this one, but are there some aspects that could clarify? Just like a trine from Pluto. Yeah, water trine. Yeah, so I think like that's like maybe it's like represents your will and kind of like this divine guidance that it also has, like when you go for it and you act on your intense interests, then that Pisces kind of kicks in and helps guide this Aries action, this Mars action. Mars rules Aries, so yeah, maybe something like that for that one. And we've got here Jupiter in Virgo, and there's this Earth trine going on with Sun in Taurus, North Node, Capricorn, and Jupiter in Virgo. So Jupiter in Virgo, I guess like that there's this exploration and expansion available for you in Virgo. So in doing by practically trying out, implementing, and then like evaluating and keeping to evolve what you're doing, then there is this expansion available for it in the 9th house. So yes, that's Sagittarius house, so really like that's linked to exploring and teaching. So yeah, but it's like a shadow of that would be like being too much like perfectionism, and like not feeling good enough, and so that's could possibly hold one back in Virgo. But then like keeping in mind like your best is good enough, it's like you can keep evolving it again like next time when you do something, but like to not let that hold you back from doing it now, like because it is really by doing it that you evolve for the next time when it goes even better. So there's that. Yeah. I guess with the Mars there could have been like a bit like maybe if I think of like what could be have been the challenge, would have been like maybe lack of boundaries, not getting to express your individual direction, but you're doing it now, working on that, so that's great. Yeah, did we go through all the placements? I think we did most. Okay, how about the progress chart then? Let's look at this. So the slower planets are pretty much the same, but then we've got here some things have changed. So let's go look. We've got in the progress chart here, we've got Mars in Aries now. Then it's kind of there where Chiron is now, which is interesting. Like, yeah, indeed, you are working with healing your individual will and direction and action. Very much so. This like confirms very much this. And then we got here Sun has moved into Gemini, and we've got Mercury and Venus here together in late degrees of Taurus. And I think it was like the next, maybe was it 5 years from now, they will also move into Gemini. So there's gonna be a whole lot of air energy then, but you got some time here still to integrate this Taurus energy more, really get grounded in your body and in your communication, to ground that down, and then you can let it fly in Gemini. Yeah, so this I already mentioned to you one time, that your moon has moved into Pisces, so more into that kind of like I guess like connection to everything, to the whole with your emotional side, which is great. But I guess it can be a bit like daunting, like it's quite a lot, but by keeping grounded, that will help you. And then by Virgo, by evaluating and looking at what works, what doesn't work, and evolving what you do through that, then that will help you out. Yeah, those are pretty much the things that changed. Other things stayed the similar in the procrast. Okay, so I also did some big wheels for us here. So this one is for Bassareus solar return next year. You can see here the round symbol with the dot in the middle. It's the sun here in Taurus. So the inner circle is the birth chart, the outer circle is the transits for the birthday next year. So this made me see here, like there's this big square from the nodes, the collective nodes going on right now in Libra and Aries. There's the south node, there's the north node. They're squaring this Capricorn energy. And if anyone has like these cardinal energies, I bet you're feeling these nodes. And yeah, it's like particularly squaring this Neptune and Uranus here. So it really is like a changing time. This square is already active for you. You can see it here. These are the December transits. So really is a change in this, taking your own authority in these things. No longer will you let it limit you, that someone else doesn't understand you. That might be the case, not everyone will, but you know that it's important to you. You want to share that wider perspective. And these times are like where you're shifting, like you're taking a new direction with this. Yeah, I think like that's like one main thing here. And then also, of course, like this north node focus here with your natal Venus there, right there, gonna be with your solar return, conjunct, I think Chiron, yes, and you will have just had also like a Venus return at the same time. So I think it's like a powerful cycle, new cycle of healing this, like moving forward from this challenge that has been there of going your own way. So as we can see, like there's like usually a lot of like similar things, like they talk about similar things in your life because that's your life, like story. It echoes in these different placements even. So that's very interesting. Let's see, was there still something in here? Here's like the birth chart and then the progressed. Well, I could say here still with this one, which is the birth chart and the solar return chart. It's like there's this also trine from the south node to this Lilith and this Saturn, and it's like air trine. So I think so the relational past, feeling through that will and is helping you to resolve this repression and this question of stepping from being repressed by outer authority into being your own authority. Yeah, I just think that's really the main theme here. So I hope this was interesting for you, and really has been interesting to read for you. And indeed, if anyone is interested in getting a reading, it doesn't have to be public like this. Boss agreed to this, but if you want a private reading, that can be also agreed upon. And yeah, would be great to hear from you. And yeah, I was thinking also to read in Finnish though Finland's birth chart at some point, so that's something to look forward to. And then there's the yearly forest garden report still gonna come at some point. So thank you all for listening, and thank you for supporting the channel with the likes and comments and views and subscribes. So very much gratitude to everyone out there, and see you next time.